since you are one of the writer-directors who I think we're going to be seeing for years to come, and eventually in the award season, and maybe sooner rather than later, did you have any reflection on the conversations going on around this year's Academy Awards season around either the lack of diversity or the lack of, in particular, people talked about Selma, but I think that the Oscars are dealing with a problem of a lack of diversity, which is really related to a problem of lack of diversity in the industry as a whole. I think those of us who work in the industry understand that. But I wondered if you had any thoughts about that, or if that struck you in any way.
I mean, the first thing that I noticed was Steve James' film Life Itself was not nominated, which is utter insanity. It made no sense at all. Listen, everyone knows there's a horrific lack of diversity in Hollywood. There should be a lot more female writers, female directors.
And there's a lot here this year at Sundance, by the way. Really, a lot of women directors. One right before you.
They're very supportive here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but there's interesting work being done.
And I mentored at the Institute, and a lot of the filmmakers there were women. This is a huge problem. So.
And is it something? I mean, do you have any thoughts about, other than? Do you feel that there should be some kind of proactive path or something, institutional that would change that?
No, I don't like institutions. So I think that's
Me
not
either.
the way to go. I think what's interesting are things coming out of Silicon Valley. There's a freshness in the Valley that is not really existing in the film industry. In Silicon Valley, people think concepts like 0 to 1 are good. In Hollywood, they think 0 to 1 is scary, meaning originality, meaning something new. They don't want that. So
are you when you say Silicon Valley, do you mean like the new people who are entering, the new companies that are entering the content space, like say Amazon and that kind of thing, or you just mean in general the innovation?
I mean in general the innovation in the Valley is they're striving for things that are original, which people don't seem to want so much in Hollywood.
Right.
And I'm saying things like Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, people that want to try to alter things in Hollywood.
So how do we change that? And I'd love to hear from you as well, because I think we all want to see an industry that has the maximum amount of diversity and breadth and stories and points of view. I mean, how do we?
One thing is it's anyone can make a film now. We all know it. I made my first 3 films for very low budgets with not even with actors.
Right.
And all of them with minority lead characters for whatever reasons. And anyone can do that. So I think that this should just keep happening. I do not think we should be turning to institutions. I think these institutions should go away.
Okay. Michael, do you have a thought that you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never really bought into the notion that anything is dying or falling apart, really. I mean, people, whether they're talking about the film industry or the music industry, there's always a lot of doom and gloom. But as far as I've been able to ascertain, there's still a ton of music and movies. So it doesn't, I think sometimes it's maybe just something to talk about.
I mean, when you look at a director that we have worked with and love, like Werner Herzog, he's not part of any institution. He's his own island moving forward.
Right.
And I think this should keep happening with great filmmakers, young filmmakers, female minorities. The Selma film you mentioned is extremely well-made film. Mm-hmm. Her earlier films also. I think they should just keep moving forward as islands unto themselves.
You think that eventually just the talent and the power of excellence, I mean, that's what we want it to be, right?
Yes. I mean, look, we all know sometimes great works and great talent get missed, but usually actually they don't. Usually they do rise up in places like Sundance and in other venues.
I agree.
I think people should move forward as islands and bring great collaborators with them, Michael, Laura, Andrew, and move forward in those directions, but without formal things behind them.
Well, and something that would help a lot is if they just got rid of VOD, but that's never going to happen. But that's like...
Why? What's your beef with VOD?
Well, I think a movie should come out in a theater, and then you should go see it in a theater if you really want to see it. And if you don't really care that much, then you can wait and get it later. But this whole notion that the movie should just come out everywhere at the same time, I mean, I had a movie here last year that I was very proud of that I don't think anybody saw, and one of the main reasons was that...
Remind us the name.
Young Ones, a movie I made with Jake Paltrow. And, it disappeared in a puff of smoke, and it's largely because of that business model.
And it has a VOD distribution.
Well, yeah,
deal.
it's the same day thing, and then none of the theaters want to pick the movie up because they're like, why are we going to show your movie if you're just going to let everybody watch it at home? So
Yeah, and it's very hard if you're a viewer, it's really challenging to know how to find the good movies on VOD.
plus, people should just watch movies in movie theaters. That's what they're meant.
Well,
that's where they're meant to be seen.
It is where they're meant to be seen, but we're dealing with the reality. People are going to watch movies where they want to, and sometimes they're going to watch them on their phones. I get you don't like it.
I don't have to deal with reality. I'm an actor. You
I
can
like
deal
that.
with whatever
better
you
off-
want.
You're right. You are right about that.